Here is the cathedral at 6 a.m. shrouded in mist. It's not quite 6. I started at 5:45 and it took me a few minutes to figure out the route. And I'm going to get back on it, but this is all of it. All the party and the parties, because I told you it was a festival weekend. So all the festivities continued until 4 a.m. But that was like white noise for me, so it was really easy to sleep in. And this might have been nice to get during the day. I'm not sure what style this is, but pretty sure this is my route. And so that was like super easy to sleep in. And I was supposed to get up at, I wanted to get up at 4 and leave at 4:30, but I was so tired because I had a late night out with the ladies. I didn't get to sleep until 10:30. And I just thought, there's no rush. Right now, it's like, I wasn't in a rush anyway, but I was always trying to beat the heat, but today it's supposed to be cool. It's supposed to rain for the first 2 hours. So, I felt like it's all right. I don't need it. And so then I ended up turning back the timer again until 5. And just looking for my arrow now. I think it's just going to go downstairs. And so I didn't get up until 5, which is why I didn't get out until 5:45. So, yeah. I didn't do any sightseeing during the day, but that's just me. I didn't need to. But the partiers, yeah, they were out all night. And Aurelio told me that in Spain, when Friday comes and Saturday comes, people stay out all night long, literally. Like I just saw some just coming home, now. So anyway, new adventure today. I have great things to tell you, but I'm going to do it later on when I can tell you when you can actually see something. And I have a great vegan breakfast planned. So I went and got 2 pastries from a vegan shop, and I'm going to have those later on. And I'm just really excited about this new adventure. And I realized either yesterday or this morning why it was so important to me to finish the Compostela. Not just, because it's something I set out to do, but with the ADHD, finishing and completing things is really important. Ticking them off my list is really important. And this goes beyond, the beautiful existential reasons for having done the Camino. This goes beyond the, being in the present moment and experiencing the Camino in relationship. This is this idea of, done, complete. That's, it's not to be belittled, as, that's a, callous, shallow way of being, It's not that at all. It's a nice, rounded experience, It's like when you can tick everything off your list, it feels great, It doesn't mean you rush through your list. It doesn't mean you didn't experience everything on your list. It just means, wow, nice, a breath out, And that's why I was so excited to come to the end rather than sad. And then plus I knew for me, I was going to Finisterre, so that's the next leg of the journey. So I'm going to have to look for arrows now. Oh, I just found one. But I'm going to turn this off and we'll talk again later. So I'm hoping you can see the difference. That road goes up and this road goes down here. So I just spent, 10 minutes going up that road all the way up because it leads straight into what looks like someone's home in the woods. So I followed the road all the way up and realized I was further and further from the path right up there. So I came back down and followed the map into those woods. which leads to someone's house, and there are like broken chairs, and I'm like, this can't be right. I'm going deeper into the woods, and I'm like, this is like tangled and there's no path. This cannot be the Camino. And I come back out and then discover this little tiny path. But at least now I'm on the right path. Tricky leaving Santiago. Just such lovely forest sounds back there. We have the frogs and some birds and some rustling. Just wanted to share it with you. Beautiful wind, keeping me cool. It's 17 degrees in Santiago. And there was a light mist. It has since abated. Yeah. Hey, there's a little something I want to talk about, but I just wanted to show you that quickly. It says Utrea, and this is terrible, I know, but I can't remember what it means. I think it's like peace or freedom, liberty maybe, something like that. Some very lovely, lofty ideal. Anyway, or truth, however you see it. A little thing that was just going through my mind right now is that people often, like in the books, you know, they're always telling you, you know, walk slowly, don't walk fast, you know, when you're on the Camino. And I've had it a number of times where I'm looking down and someone will say, look up, look around you, you know, or someone will say very ostentatiously, que magnifico, and then spread their arms out, or que magnifique, right, and spread their arm out wide, you know, to show me, you know, some view. And the thing is, these people are making the assumption that I'm walking fast or that I am looking down because I'm stuck in a pattern. And I do know that these patterns can be very deeply ingrained, you know, to walk fast or look down, you know, and not take in the world around you, you know, to be in your head and things like that. And other people say, you know, don't think, you know, and just walk, you know. And the thing is, like, they're telling you all these things, but they're making assumptions while they're doing it. And it is really important to break free of patterns, you know, or to step outside them. It doesn't have to be a permanent break free thing, but just, you know, part of the thing of coming on the Camino is that you get an opportunity to step away from those daily patterns, right? It's an opportunity. And there's so much that you can gain from getting a different perspective. You know, it's like when you do yoga and you stand on your head, you know, you get a totally different perspective. Or when you're a little kid, you imagine walking on the ceiling, you know, because you just lie there on the floor and imagine what would it be like, you know, to walk on the ceiling. And it's just, you get a totally different perspective of life, right? And that is very important. But like, just like I don't want anybody, I love music and I love listening to music, but I don't want anybody forcing their music on me when I'm on the Camino. And in the same way, I don't want anybody forcing me, you know, to, or, you know, but in the sense of telling me, look up, you know, to look up when I'm looking down. I'm looking down for my own reasons, and it's not because I'm locked in a pattern. It's because I'm making a choice, and I'm walking fast because, again, that's my choice. That's my pattern, that's my pace. And my pace varies. It depends on the landscape, it depends on the mood, it depends on the time of day, it depends on the heat. It depends on so many things. And I want my pace to be mine, not someone else's. And I want where I look to be mine and not someone else's. I'm very anti-authority in so many ways. I don't want anyone telling me where to look, And that may sound childish, And if it is, so be it, I want to look where I want to look, when I want to look, And it's different if, you happen to be looking in one direction and someone says, wow, and you turn and look and wow, you see something gorgeous. That's great. That's fantastic. You're taking part in someone else's experience. But that's very different from someone saying, stop looking down, look up, take in the world, assuming that you haven't been doing that all this time. So I just wanted to make that point because it's something that comes up a lot for people walking the Camino, that they're told these things. And I just want to say, if you are going to walk the Camino, or, if you have any kind of walk in your plans, go with your gut, go with your feelings, trust yourself. And remember that, yes, part of your experience is stepping away from the patterns and taking a break, but go with your own pace and your own intuition as to how and when to do that. That's my suggestion anyway. I can't tell you what a nice feeling it is to be walking alone in the quiet again. And I'm really glad it's so well waymarked, except for that one part that could have done with a waymarker, like right at where the two paths diverged. Well, one path turned into two. And but like, I expect there to be, some other people on the road today. I'm sure someone will come up behind me at some point and pass me by, and someone else will be on the road in front of me. But I don't expect the hordes, of people like on the Santiago Camino, the Camino Francés. And yeah, there's just a really nice, relaxing feeling knowing that this is a much less traveled path. And I think I was thinking before about the length, and you might remember me saying that, well, in the beginning, the walking was difficult because, you're doing 20 kilometers and then you get up and you do it again. It's not like you go home and, have a beer and have a good dinner and sleep in your own bed. You go sleep in a room in a dormitory full of people who snore and rustle and get up at all hours of the night. And, so you rarely get like really good sleep. But last night I had great sleep though. And, and I have had a few nights of really good sleep. But, it's a different story when you're getting up and doing it day after day. And that, as you might remember, was one of my first challenges, my first hurdles to overcome. And then it was, the stamina I gained in stamina, and, 25 kilometers became nothing, and then 30 kilometers was like, wow, where I was completely exhausted doing this before, I feel great now. Part of that was the timing, because I also learned to leave early in the morning, so that the bulk of my travels were the cool part of the day. And, so you learn these things as you go. But what I was thinking about is, for my ADHD mind, it's probably easier to have smaller journeys, even if they're consecutive, so just say, there's this one 8-day journey, and then you go do the 8-day journey, and then you have a completion, and then if you want to do another 8-day journey, you do, but what you have done is complete. And I think that's something that will help me, because I do still want to continue walks in Scotland, but I think the longest one is the West Highland Way, and that's 8 days if I'm not mistaken. But like I said, you can walk as long as you want. And yeah, I've wanted to go to the Isle of Lewis and see the standing stones there, and there's so much to do and see in Scotland. And I just got another kitty in the road. Anyway, yeah, that's just something that I was thinking about for my ADHD mindset, is that if in my head I know the trips are shorter, even if they are consecutive, then it changes a bit of the perspective, I think, or maybe expectations or something like that. This is interesting. Is this 2 cats? One sleeping? Or is that a bag of trash? Or is that a bird? I think it's 2 cats. One sleeping. There we go. Hello, kitties. Hello, darlings. Hello, gorgeous ones. Look at you. You're fine. Don't worry. Don't worry. Okay. It's lightly misting, which I'm loving. And I'll catch you later with that story I wanted to tell you about the wonderful experience of yesterday, the last day of the Camino. I'll say. I just want to show you guys. I'm sure you can tell already that these are grapes. Isn't this gorgeous? So people have this all over. They build these stone, not even sure what they're called, balustrades maybe, I'm not sure. They have these stone things, in various ways. And, either like here bridging between 2 buildings, or they just have it in an upside down L shape. And then they let the grapevines grow up and across the top. And then you've got grapes hanging from, your beautiful leafy ceiling. And I know they do that in Greece too, and I just love it. It's a plan and a dream for my dream wish hope home in Scotland. And these are all plum trees lining someone's garden. I just love it. I really hope it happens for me, and I'm gonna permaculture it up all the way. So much like this, like so many homes have done here. So, hello. So you see what's up ahead, don't you? It's mountains. And what I don't know is whether to get to Finisterre I'm gonna have to cross those mountains or not. I kept hoping that since Finisterre is at the ocean, it would be downhill all the way. But, you know me, I don't do my research. At least not for this kind of a thing. And, yeah, I guess we'll just have to see if I've got to cross those mountains or if I'm going to walk along them. But for the moment, it looks like I'm heading straight towards them. Yeah. And I've taken some pictures. There were more grape-covered, these awnings, these natural awnings with, the grapes hanging everywhere from them. It's just so gorgeous. And then the lemon trees and the orange trees growing in people's yards. It's just, the world is such a beautiful place, you know. And I mean, here I am looking, you know, saying this, walking through these little machines everywhere, but you know, it really is, I think, a part of our job in this incarnation is to recognize that beauty and to emulate it as much as we can. Just try and reflect that beauty, try and live it, try and feel it. Not even try. There's a great lesson I learned decades ago, and it was don't try, do, sorry. And someone else told me, or I think I saw this in like a series, that Yoda said something very similar, which is quite funny. And I learned it through kinesiology, and the essence is that if you try in your mind, if you say, I'm going to try to do something, then you've automatically built in the possibility of not doing it. Whereas if you simply do something, then you're doing it to whatever degree you do it, but you're still doing it. So you still have that satisfaction, that conscious knowledge of I have done something. And it doesn't matter to what degree you've done it, or you know, what capacity, you have done something. And that gives you a completely different mindset than, okay, I'll try and see if it works and see if I can maybe manage it, you know. Totally different approach, totally different outcome. And so when we look at life that way, here are apples now, gorgeous. When we look at life and beauty in that same way, you know, then I think it becomes much easier to see beauty everywhere, to reflect that beauty to the best of your ability, to enjoy that beauty of life. And I know that can be hard in certain situations and, you know, certain places, under certain conditions, circumstances, not just hard, but, you know, impossible. But that doesn't mean that it's not possible at some point in any person's life, or that they haven't seen beauty in their life and they don't hold it in their hearts and in their minds and in their thoughts. So it's still there. It's always there and available to us if we choose it. Okay, so I'd looked at the map, and with the straight path it was taking and then the switchbacks, I thought, okay, we are going over the mountains, and indeed this is a very long climb that I'm on right now. It's been only about 11 kilometers, just over 2 hours, and temperature's still kind of the same, so that's all right. I've seen quite a few cyclists. I think quite a few, 5 in total. And no walkers yet. Although Max from France, he is walking today. He said, and Tina's also walking, but she's a few days behind. So I'm not sure when she'll get there. And some others are going, but they're going to take the bus. And I'll take a break either at the top of the mountain or on the other side. Probably when I reach around 20 kilometers. So it's been up and up and up and up and up. And you turn a corner and you go up. And there's a little flat bit and then you go up. So yeah, up, up, up. picking up sticks. Tell me who you are, because I don't know who you are, but I can tell that we know each other. Oh, that's probably the bus I'll be taking back in a few days, in a week. Just wanted to show you how pretty the sun is. I'll just wait for the bus to go past. Might even be some people I know on that bus. Yeah, just really beautiful. And there are lots of forests up ahead, so I can't tell though how this will wind, if we're gonna go up again over another hill or how it's gonna work, but we'll find out. It's I think around 9:30. Yeah, 9:30. So it's been 3.5 hours. So in another half hour, I'll probably take a break, even though I won't have reached my 20 kilometers by then. It's only been, I think, about 15 or 16. I haven't checked, just judging by the road markers. But yeah, I think 4 hours and then a half-hour break is fine. So then I'll have my vegan pastries or one of them and rest a little bit before I move on. So I've actually come 17 kilometers, and Negrera, which is the big town, is 21 kilometers. So I might just wait until then and then sit down. I'm sure there's going to be a park somewhere, or I'll have my break before then. We'll see. But in Negrera, I'm going to buy my dinner for the next 2 nights. And it's not like a big deal that I have to buy it for 2 nights, because I'll have to carry it 10 kilometers today. But tomorrow, half of it I can send in my bag when I forward my bag. So 10 kilometers is kind of, well, 9 kilometers, or maybe it's 8. So 21 Negrera, and then 29 point something. I think it's 29.7 or 8. So it's practically 9 kilometers that I'll have to carry it. But it'll work out somehow or other. So it's been 4 hours and 20 minutes, and I'm in Negrera, 21 kilometers. And I forgot I'd gone a little bit of extra, when I'd gone those wrong ways earlier. In the dark, wandering through the woods. I hope this is still the right path. But yeah, so I'm just going to find somewhere nice to sit. It still looks like everything's closed, which is kind of weird, since it's already almost 10:30. Oh, wait. Saturday. Huh. Should be open. I was going to say, Sunday, but that's another reason why I need to buy my food for 2 nights, because who knows if I'll find anything open on a Sunday tomorrow. So, yeah, looking for a place to rest, and I'll look for a supermarket, and then after that, I'll continue on the last 8 or 9 kilometers to where I'm going. That looks like an interesting fountain there. A lady with the 2 bowls. Not sure if you could see that over the car. I'll get a photo of it. Okay, I had my croissant and I've been sitting here for like 5 minutes, and I repacked everything. So the 2 bags are now, most of it's in the backpack. And then I've got like a bag hanging here, and I've got my shower bag hanging there. I've got my other shopping bag hanging there. And that means my hands are free to use these. So I don't know how well it's gonna work, but it's only 9 kilometers. It feels actually okay. It doesn't feel too stressed out right now. So my hands are free, which is the amazing thing. My back also feels fine. And I'm just like super psyched about spread this all out, you know. And I've got my sandals attached as well to straps hanging on the outside. So that's how I made space inside my bag for the heavy stuff. And I just found some really nice vegan food there. This is kind of cute. I'm gonna let you see that rather than taking a picture. And yeah, let's see. So, what was I saying? Yeah, there was just some nice vegan food, and since I'm going to be staying in Finisterre, I mean, I don't know. If they have vegan food here in Negrera, they're probably going to have cool vegan food in Finisterre, but I saw it and I thought I'll take it because I've got today and tomorrow where they don't have any vegan food, and they're both very small towns. So just to make sure that I have, you know, enough for both days. And like I said, I'm only transporting it this one day. Tomorrow I can send it ahead in my bag, so, and then I'll be back to normal with my 4 kilos or whatever it is I'm transporting. I'll just may as well keep this on the video. Beautiful little river we're crossing, lots of beautiful little rivers. Anyway, and now I'm on my way. Just a small video of the town of Negrera. That weird smoke is something that they, I don't know what it is, but it's like, it looked like fireworks. It like slightly exploded in the sky. It was like quickly one after another, but I have no idea what the purpose of something like that would be. But it looks pretty from up here. And I saw one pilgrim passing, so he's not staying in Negrera tonight, or he was going to a different albergue that was at the end of town. And I met one French pilgrim who happily prattled to me in French. And I didn't understand anything, you know, unless he used universal language, and then I answered in Spanish, and it worked from there. And he's staying in Negrera tonight, but he's also walking to Finisterre. So yeah, very, very thin on the pilgrim front, but we are still represented. All right, I was so super psyched that I'd made it, but for some reason or other it's not open. It's supposed to be open an hour ago. It's 1 o'clock. It's supposed to be open at 12. And so now I'm walking back to the cafe, and I'm hoping someone there will go let me in so I can put all my bags down and take a shower. But thank God I'm finally here. It was quite a slog at the end. You know, another kilometer, just because it's all quite heavy. You know, I went a bit overboard on the shopping. I just got concerned because in this town there's no market, in the next town there's no market. Well, when I say the next town, I mean like all the towns in between and my next stop, there's no market. So where I stay tomorrow night, and both places can't accommodate for vegan. So that's why I bought so much. And anyway, up the stairs now. Hey. So this is going to be the last video of the day. You see this behind me? That's called an oreo. And I've taken a few pictures, so you'll see these pictures. And essentially they're made, the original ones are made of stone. This one was probably restored and has some, is partly made of cement. But there are slits in it, and when they're made of stone, then the stone is stacked in such a way that there are little ventilation shafts. And then there's a door. And it's built on these pedestals that you can see. That's to keep out the rats. The slits are to let the air in so it circulates, and the whole thing is to keep the birds out. And essentially it's a vegetable and grain storage. So it's been around probably for hundreds of years, and very ingenious little buildings. So
similar to a grain silo in the United States, or maybe other countries use them too, but no rats get in there. So that's really good. So I said that I was going to talk about the turikrinos. And I'll just show you first a little bit of the beautiful sky. We've had great weather today. I mean, I call this great. You know, blue skies, white and gray clouds. There were like a few baby drops of mist, you know, and that's it. But it was fantastic for walking, and I feel energized, and I've got a great bed with curtains. So I've just been, you know, keeping to myself, and I also needed the time kind of to pull back, you know. But anyway, back to the turikrinos. So I love this phrase that, I don't know if Tina came up with it, but she said it to me, and it's a combination of tourist and peregrino. And you know, you've heard me say before that, you know, the problem for other people traveling the Camino, you know, maybe who've been on it longer, the problem is that suddenly there are a lot more people on the road. So we've been used to a lot of, you know, quiet time, and all of a sudden there are hundreds of people all around you all the time. And it's also often hard to find a place to stay because they've done all their bookings at this last stage of it. So, you know, people who've only been booking one night ahead of time or not at all sometimes find themselves having to go very far. Then, you know, there are some people playing their music and not really being considerate of, because they don't really understand, or they don't ask themselves the question why other people come on the Camino. And it's, you know, it feels like it's treated more like a, you know, a vacation rather than a pilgrimage. So, you know, these are all, you know, and then of course you get some people. I know I'm sending my pack ahead. My bag that I carry is still around 4 kilos plus. Today you saw the bags attached, so I had easy 6 kilos, you know, 6.5, something like that, for 10 kilometers. But, you know, then you see people with teeny tiny bags and they're bouncing along, and, you know, and you're trudging along, you know, and, you know, and they're not really doing without. And that's another thing that comes up is, you know, isn't a pilgrim part of it? You know, isn't it about just kind of taking a step back from regular life, you know, from all of the things you kind of need to get through your day? But, you know, that's not to say people don't drink coffee and drink alcohol, you know, that's a daily thing, you know. So even the tourists, the pilgrims, you know, who come the entire way, you know, they're also still doing their thing, you know. So those are the kinds of general thoughts that, you know, I and others, you know, that I've spoken with have had. And the problem with generalizing thoughts like that is that you focus on these generic attributes, these interpretations that to which you have a certain response, right? But you leave out the human element, and that's the danger of generalizing. And last night I had the amazing fortune, I had to, on Sunday I made all my bookings for the rest of my journey, because I wanted to make sure that I had somewhere to stay, because I knew it was getting very full. And to get a place in Santiago, I had to call 4 places, something like that. And I'm so glad that I did, because where I stayed, the Abigail where I stayed, it's called The Last Stamp, so it's very cute. And I happened, you know, to be right across from a young woman from the United States, an absolutely lovely Turicrino, right? And I talked to her last night. We went out. She's in the picture. She's Jessica, and we met the other 2 lovely ladies. All 3 of them Southern women. It's so funny how many Southern women I meet from the United States on this journey. nowhere else in the United States. I think I've met one young guy from California. I didn't even really meet him. He introduced himself in a group at Santa Maria Albergue, but that was it. No other Americans, just they're all just the Southern women. It's really too funny. But anyway, we had the dinner together, and Jessica and we talked a lot, we shared a lot, and I told her last night how grateful I was for having met her, because the experience of hanging out with her, this absolutely beautiful, just lovely person, and having her be a Torregrino, it was just so perfect, because it reminded me to be humble. It reminded me that generalizations cannot be taken as word of God or something. They cannot be counted on. Generalizations are vague guidelines, and that's it. And we really can't use them for any more than that. We really have to be careful and guard against that. So I was super grateful that I got to have that experience of, and the other two ladies, they started in Leon, so a little bit before Saria, where all of the, the people that we're calling Torregrinos typically start from. Oh, the other thing was, they're all doing it just to get the Compostela, That's the other kind of, what do you call it? Critique, I suppose, or complaint, or whatever you want to say. But yeah, so it was a really humbling experience, and I'm super grateful that the Camino provides all the time. I mean, I don't believe in coincidences. I don't believe in accidents. I was guided right there. I'm not saying by the hand of God, it doesn't matter what it's called, but I was definitely on my path, and I was following all of the right steps. And I'm also not saying that it's all destiny and everything's set out. That's not it either. For me, it's about connection. It's about being in tune with what's real. And when you're in tune with what's real, then it makes it much easier to follow your heart and to be on what I would call your path. And your path is very much for me like the Chinese Tao about the way, right? So it's not the way that everyone follows, it's the way that each person follows, which is what drew me to Taoism originally. So I just wanted to say that it was an absolutely wonderful experience getting to know her and hanging out with her and hearing, and she, openly heard me talk about, I told her, I said what we say, what we talk about Torregrinos, and this is why, and, but I thanked her because it was such an incredible experience to have a real human being, and not a generalization. And I am truly grateful for having had that experience. And thank you, Jessica, for being there. Thank you, Camino, for always providing. And I think that's it for today. 2 more days on this Camino, and then the next journey of decompressing begins. All right. Ciao, everybody. Buen Camino. Hey, there was one other Torregrino I wanted to mention, and that was Rio. And I met him at Clem's Cafe, which is a vegan cafe. And I'd seen him in the morning on the way to Santiago. And so we were just sitting across from each other while I was having this wonderfully vegan croissant. And we had a really good chat, and he was also really sweet, just a really nice guy. Comes from Japan. He's, he had just enough time to do this part of the Camino, which he'd been fascinated with for a long time. and he's going on to do a bit of other traveling before he starts his master's degree, and he's studying Finno-Ungaric. I think that's the direction of the languages, but the the group of languages that use Cyrillic, and so just a super fascinating, language nerd like me, and I encouraged him to, go on italki and teach Japanese, and because he already has, he needs some teaching qualifications first, but he's already got all of the rest of it, that comes from his heart. That would qualify him to be a really great teacher. And yeah, so, of course we make our generalizations. It helps us in order to talk about certain experiences with similar types of people, but we have to always remember that they are only generalizations and they don't take in actual individual human beings. So yeah, just wanted to shout out to Rio.